Hi everyone, it's Karen here today and welcome to my mixed media channel. Today I'm sharing with you a page on how I have used my acrylic paints like a watercolour. So what I'm doing is starting off in my small dinner weekly journal and I'm doing a collage. And I've got the a couple of collage pages there from Art by Marlene, just some of her collage papers out of, I'm not sure which collection it is. I have all of them. I'm not sure which ones I'm using, but they're all very lovely, bright and colourful. So I'm just ripping out bits and pieces of that and gluing it in with some soft gel medium. So I'm almost finished there. I also have a picture, you might have just quickly saw that, it's just off to the side, that I'm going to use as my main focal point. So where I've got that big white spot in the middle, I'm going to pop in some book pages over the top of that, and that's where my focal point is going to go. So she's sitting on top of that. So I didn't put my Art by Marlene papers all everywhere. I saved some. So now I'm just ripping up some of those old book pages and popping them in. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. So yeah, I'm just, using my soft gel medium, going over the top, making sure that everything's all stuck down. So here you can see my image. My image is from ElenaZinskiArt, who designs stamps and stencils for Paperartsy. But she also has an Etsy store. And so this image that I have bought off her Etsy store, which I will put a link in the description box below if you'd like to have a look at her store. She has some really cool, funky things. So yeah, so I've just fussy cut out my my girl there, and I've picked out a few Paperartsy paints. The colours are all the translucent ones, sorry. So the colours that I have are called Banana, Prawn, Glass Blue, and Limelight. So what I've done is just squeezed a little bit out onto my mixed media board and squirted them with some water. And I've also wet my brush quite well, so that I can water down my paints really well. And now I'm just painting them on here and there. It doesn't really matter where, on top of my collage to add some more colour in. With my excess paint, I've got a little bit of pink and blue there. I decided to grab a stencil. Now the stencil is also from Paperartsy, and this one is designed by Tracy Scott. So I've just got some of the blue there onto a sponge, and I'm just sponging that onto my collage into the background to add another layer and some more interest into my collage. So here I've got another one of Tracy's stencils. I particularly like this one because it's got a bunch of different patterns on it, so you can pick and choose which bits you would like to use. So now I've just got some lime green, doing a few little, what are they, rectangles, just here and there. Now because my paint is quite translucent, it may not show up so well on the camera. As I was doing it, it did actually look quite cool, but there it looks a bit of a hot mess. So now I'm getting out some more of my pink, and I've got some of Tracy Scott's stamps, so I'm going to pop some of those into the background. So what I'm actually doing is putting some of the Paperartsy paint onto my stamps, and I'm doing that with some cut and dry foam, just with the black side, and then completely wiping it off my stamp when I'm finished so that I don't wreck my stamp. I also had a little bit extra paint there that I've just done a few little pink finger splotches with. So now I've got all that pink paint, I'm going to put that excess back into the jar because I don't like to waste it. And I've got another stamp here. I'm going to do some more stamping with some blue paint this time. So it's just another one of Tracy's, and again, just to ensure I clean it up really well afterwards to make sure there's no paint left on the stamp at all. Okay, so now I've found a scribble another one of Tracy's stamps. I'm using a variety of different Tracy Scott stamps from Paperartsy. But before I can stamp, I need to make sure that all my paint is dry, otherwise the paint will stick to my stamp and it'll end up as a hot mess. So now that I've got it all nice and dry, I can come in with my stamping, and I'm stamping with an archival jet black ink. I like the archival one because it's waterproof. It's like an oil-based ink, so it doesn't actually smudge, move. It's completely permanent when it's dry. So I've also given it a quick heat set. Well, I think I did before I started using my white paint there. The white paint is actually called Snowflake, and it's also from Paperartsy. Again, just making sure I get it all off my stamps, not letting it dry on there. You don't want to ruin your lovely Paperartsy stamps. So I'm just about finished that part. I think I'm going to give it a bit of a dry. I've got my lady, she looks pretty cool on there. But before I stick her on, I decided to do some mark making. So I've just got a gold Posca pen, and I'm just doing a few little doodles with the pink, white, some navy blue swirls, just some random mark making to help break up some of that background. But as you can see, it is actually quite busy, and my picture from Elena is actually gotten quite lost. So what I'm doing now is I've got my Stabilo oil pencil, and I'm going to give her a bit of a black outline. So I'm just going around her in with the black pencil, and then I've got my paintbrush, and put some water on it to spread that Stabilo oil pencil around. Now my image is actually stuck on, I printed her out on photo paper, and then I've put some sticky back like double-sided tape onto the back of her, but she actually lifted up a little bit when I put the water on, so I'll have to glue her back down in again in a minute. Now as I look back, I think my quote that I wanted to use is with brave wings she flies, and it doesn't actually look too bad, but how it ends up is completely different. I did not like how it was going, so I've added some more gold in. That's just with a what is it, Crafters Workshop stencil, and some Nouveau gold glitter paste. So that looks really cool. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking my quote is getting lost there in my background. I'm not liking how it's looking. So here I am gluing down my picture again, because she did lift up with the water underneath, which was a bit of a shame. So I have to do all that bit again. Anyway, so now I've just gone with my white Posca pen and done some shadowing on my quote, but I really didn't like it. It's like it's lost in there. So I've dried it off now, and I'm going to come back in with my Stabilo oil pencil in a minute and to go around it. But before I do that, I'm going around the black letters again with my gold pencil, and this is where I think I totally wrecked it because I just hated it. So what I'm doing now is I've grabbed my Stabilo oil pencil again, and this time I'm going to create a bit more of a black outline around my girl and also my quote. And when I wet the Stabilo oil pencil with my paintbrush and go around my quote, it just looks shocking. So I try and mop it up, but of course that just doesn't work. So I try again to darken up some of the outline, but it just didn't work. And in the end, I just decided to paint over the whole thing there. So I've got a big black spot now on my beautiful collage. Well, I thought it was beautiful. Anyway, these things happen. So now what I'm doing is drying it off, and I'm going to grab my white Posca pen, and I'm going to rewrite my quote. So with brave wings she flies. So I'm just thickening up my letters there, making them stand out a little bit more. And then because it is quite stark with the white, what I'm actually going to do is grab my gold pencil, my gold Posca pen when it's dry and do my outlines around my letters again, just to give them that little bit more of a shadow. And I think that looks really cool. Although as I watch back and I see how it was before, I think it did actually look quite well until I put the gold Posca pen on the black and then did the outline with the Stabilo. But anyway, that's okay. So she ends up looking pretty good. I like my little stars that I've done with the gold. I'll put a description in to say what I actually used there. So here's some pictures. Thank you so much for watching.